And this is Varang Amin. We're from Palo Alto Networks, and we're here to talk to you about log visualization today. A little bit about us. I'm a tools and automation minion, specializing in Python. And Varang uses Python to make day-to-day life easy and for security research and proof of concept development. Today I'm going to talk about the problem that we're trying to solve, some existing solutions, comparisons between different solutions, and why we choose the elk stack. And then at the end, I'll present a Python module that we've created to make the setup quick and easy for you. And Varang is going to give a demo and go through some use cases that that might give you guys some ideas to get started. So you may have heard this catchphrase, data is the new bacon, or data is the new gold, or data is the new black. The point is that data is everywhere, but without visualization and getting intelligence from the data, basically that is the goal, that you want to have visualization and get some information from your data. And this is one issue that we deal with at Palo Alto Networks. We have, if you're not familiar with the company, we create firewalls. And so in testing our firewalls, we have many firewalls in our labs, each of them generating lots of logs, including system logs, traffic logs, threat logs, many different types of logs. And we have SOAK devices all over the world that are running, and also we have a lot of data from those devices, and we needed to do something with all of this data. So looking at some older tools, there's, my favorite is grep to go through different files and get information. I think the most popular one at different corporations is Excel. People use it to store data, analyze their data, graph their data. And some people use set and awk, if you guys have heard of that. But we wanted to look towards some more modern solutions. So today you may have heard of Splunk, that's a popular one, ArcSight, Loggly, and Sumo Logic. These are all very popular enterprise solutions. And in comparing these against some free solutions, we wanted to look at the different ways you could deploy your tools, whether you want to deploy in-house or in the cloud, the availability of plugins for different types of data, both getting your data in and getting your data out, and looking at the community support and what you can get out of the community. So we choose to go with the ELK stack, which stands for Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, which is open source. These are all free open source tools. So basically, using this stack, you can provide your data. You start with your data, and you configure your data and so that Logstash can read your data. And Logstash will be used to get your data, filter your data, and output your data. And one of the systems that you can output your data to is Elasticsearch, although you can also output to other event queues as well. Elasticsearch will be used to index your data. And then ultimately, you can do your visualization and graphing on the Kibana dashboard. So go through each of these steps in a little bit more detail. Logstash is basically event processing engine. You can use it to collect data from logs, of course, which is as the name implies. But in addition to log files, you can also get input from CSV files or different types of files, your IoT devices, reading on different streaming APIs, such as Twitter, which Varang will show you an example of later. And once you can also configure Logstash to so once you get the data, you can parse it, filter your data, normalize the data, and enrich the data. An example of this would be maybe the timestamp format in the log files, maybe that you got maybe was not a standard timestamp format, and you want to change that, or you want to change some of the like the column names in your CSV, something like that. You can do that automatically using the Logstash configuration. And then you can forward your data onto another system. In our example, we will be forwarding our data onto Elasticsearch, but you could also forward it to like RabbitMQ or some other queuing system, or like a Jira bug tracking system if you want to read some data and then automatically create some tickets for it for different events. Anyway, there's 200 different plugins available. I won't list them. You can search online in the documentation to find out what those are. So Elasticsearch, this is a JSON document-oriented search engine. This is powered by Apache Lucene, which is an open source search engine tool that's been around for many years. And it's schema-free, so that makes it easy to get started because you don't have to define your schema up front like you do with SQL. And the REST API also makes it easy to to query Elasticsearch, to either to do your search queries or to perform your search to build your indexes, or to monitor your Elasticsearch cluster. And then finally, we come to Kibana. Once you have all your data indexed in Elasticsearch, now you're ready to explore the data. So Kibana provides a web dashboard for you to visualize your data, create different graphs, different charts, and very quickly gain insights into your data. And you can customize your dashboard so it's not one static thing. You can pick and choose the components you want as you go. So once again, in summary, the ELK stack, the different components that you will use are to get your data into Logstash, which will parse your data events and push them to Elasticsearch for indexing. And from there, you can use Kibana as a dashboard into your Elasticsearch. So with all these different components, you might think like, well, where do I begin? So that's where we have created this tool called Data2Elk. This will automatically download and install and configure all these components on your Linux VM. And all you have to do is run this tool and give it an input file of your data, point the tool to your CSV data, and it will automatically do the indexing, and then you can, within 10 minutes, you'll be ready to use Kibana to make your queries. It's as simple as running our tool from the command line, specifying, I don't know if you see the pointer, specifying the location of your file with your CSV data. Oops. And it will automatically take care of this for you. So I think Varang's going to give a demo of running this tool, and then show you some cool queries and use cases in Kibana.
Thank you. So yeah, so like if we're just starting a demo, just want to ensure like in the room, like how many people have actually used like the Elasticsearch before? Okay. So yeah, for you guys, the life will be very easier to deploy the Linux cluster, and for all the guys who have not deployed the ELK stack yet, I'm sure after you go out of the room, I think you can easily deploy it. It's just very simple. So In that MO, like as I've said, we have one Ubuntu VM. On that, we are basically download and like install like the elk, and then we are going to do the deployment part where we are going to set up all these three components as a daemon, and after that we are going to make a configuration as well. And once that configuration is done, so like that configuration will be like where you want to point your like elk stack, like you want to like run it like locally, or like you want to point to like the AWS cloud or like anywhere. And after that, like it will automatically generate like the indexes as well. And at the end of that, yes, you have the index like a log data that you can search, and then you can just build the cool dashboard on the Kibana as well. So yeah, so like as I've said, like these are the different deployment scenarios. So now in the like pretty much Silicon Valley, all the security startups, what they do basically, they will ask you to point their logs, like it could be their email server logs or the Apache logs, or like any pretty much their like firewall logs to that AWS cloud. And at there they have their own software like running, which does the like intelligence to just like identify any like abnormal activity. So they are using like AWS a lot. These are the like other options as well. So for this particular demo, I'm gonna do the like local deployment. And okay, then let's go for a showtime. So I do have a video like recorded in case if the demo doesn't work, but let's go. So as I've said, like this is a fresh Ubuntu VM. I would say like a semi-fresh Ubuntu VM, where I have just deployed the Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. So as you can see here, like the Elasticsearch status is like running, and we also have like Kibana running as a daemon as well. And the like Logstash is not like running, which is like intentional, because we want to make sure that we just parse some data. So Logstash status is not running. Okay. So for the demo purpose, I'm going to go over like the basically two section. So the first will be like from our security device. I have captured some log, and that contains some information about like the traffic that we identify, that it's a Facebook or like some iTunes traffic or something like that. And the second use case would be a social feeds from the so like last night around like 11 p.m. I search about PyBay, and I just get like all the tweets, like who is most popular, what people liked, and like all those kind of things. So I have all those data stored into, so this is one of them, which is a securities ESV, where like if you can see, okay, see these are fresh VM, so I've not installed even Vim. Okay, so I had a bunch of data which I don't want to read it like one by one, and this is like my Twitter feeds for the PyBay. Again, VM. I love Vim. Okay, so which I don't even, so like because it's very hard to understand and like see, okay, first people are talking. So let's start that demo. So the thing is, this is like data to elk, that the Python tool or a module that we have worked upon, and basically we are just parsing a file, a security file, and then after that we are going to like restart the like Logstash daemon. And before just that, let me just show you one thing. Currently, the like as I've said, the Elasticsearch and the Kibana are like up and running. So generally, the Elasticsearch will like run on the like a port at 9200. You can see like this. Like if you have the Elasticsearch like installed, this is the first thing that you will see. And the same thing for the like Kibana. Currently, I don't have any data in the cluster, so there is no indexes. So technically, in a simple line, I have not sent any data, so it's completely like empty. So now I'm gonna send some data, so which is pretty much like data from my security device. And let's see, it will start to generate the indexes. Yeah, So yeah, so like see like if you, so currently it is generating a JSON for like pretty much each and every line of the CSV file, which has the different field, like the applications and the source country, destination country, port, and all those things. Now the thing is, once all this data being generated, let's go on the UI side where we can see that, okay, do we have anything to visualize or not? And boom, see, now we have all the, like we have some data and like the no data is still coming. So as you can see here, if you click on refresh, you can pretty much see like all your indexing has been done like automatically. And then you can just change the field that you would like to index or you don't like want to index. And then just directly jump onto the discover section where you can see your data. So currently, I think by default it will does with the last 15 minutes. It is still, I believe, creating the indexes. So you will see some data for now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so like if you can see here, yeah, so like it's pretty much all the, like as I've said, like the source port and the source address and the destination address. And sorry for all the folks who are not security folks, but I think this is pretty much the data that we get from our security device, which has some detailed information and the application identification. Currently it's saying SSL. So now you get the data. Now even it's very hard to see that, okay, like I'm not going to see like each and every entry. So even for that, like we have some infrastructure where you can just see, okay, in the application, what is the most classifying application, which is very obvious of web browsing. You can just add as a filter, and then you can just only see the web browsing data, and then you can even like minimize as well. Yeah. So see, like, so now you will see only that particular data. And you can also save like pretty much your search queries as well. Like this is my web browsing, like a web data, simple. And then you go for, okay. And then you can go for the visualizations. And then you have different options that like, how would like you to visualize. For example, let's go for the pie chart. You can either do your search queries and you can do the visualization for that, or you can just basically go for like a new search, and then you can just specify that what particular field that you would like you to visualize. So here I'm gonna choose like let's say applications, and let's give some number, and then boom, it will just generate the cool pie graph for you, where it will just say that, okay, like the data that is coming in your, that is going out and coming in your network, it has like the following categories. And just for the example, I just choose like only a small set of data. But if you have a like a enterprise cluster like up and like running, you can keep sending the data, and then you can see like multiple options here as well. And like as I've said, you can pretty much save your app visual, like all your visualizations as well. So you have saved your visualization, and then you'll be like, okay, I've done all those things now, but what if I like come like next time, do I need to do all those things again? So for that, they have the dashboard as well. So you can pretty much build your customized dashboard. So whatever you search, whatever you visualize, you can pretty much create a customized dashboard as well. And you just need to fetch the queries. Let me just make it doc, and then you can, and that will be your customized dashboard. So like every time you just like log in, you just only need to do the see your dashboard and just see that how does the traffic is going through. So that is the example for like our security data. Now just let's go for some non-security stuff. The same thing, if you want to see the Twitter feeds for the PyBay, let's see. Like the same process, it will generate the index. then it will send the data to the like Elasticsearch, and then like the Kibana index will automatically get like refreshed, and then we can see the Twitter data as well. It will take some time because it has to like stop and like restart the like Logstash. And so yeah, as you can see, it has started to generate the indexes for the Twitter data. And let's log in on the same our interface. Let's go back to the Discover, and then let's see. Let me remove this filter. Okay. Yeah. So here is my Twitter data. I'm just getting like all the different data sets. So like if you wanna like send like a different data from the different sources, you can do that as well. So so like basically like this will be the default field that Twitter will like expose. Like if you wanna store all your tweet data into a CSV file, like pretty much these are the like standard things that they will give, like a place of the country and the country code and the full name and the address and the like a retweet count and like all those things. So for that, let's make some data. Okay, there is another index from the Twitter data was a user mentioned like entities. If I add that thing, and let's see, like yesterday everybody talked about whom. So it seems that people talk about like a Raymond a lot yesterday, and then they have talked about a PyBay and like all the other people, and Simon as well. Yes. So pretty much you can add. So like now you have like all this information here. Now like you are still not seeing that plus particular sign. I think you have to go here and just like refresh the index. So it will like visible here as well. Yeah, currently I'm just doing already on my like local machine, so it's very slow. So yeah, so now like you will see that plus sign. You can just add Raymond, and then you can see all the talks where people have mentioned like Raymond, or like is he said something, or somebody like say his tweets or anything. You can get all this information here. And as I've said, you can just create like a customized chart as well, where you can just visualize and pie charts and same thing. So the method will be the same, only the different thing will be the data. As the same thing, like if you go to the columns, then you go to terms, and you can go user mention entities. And just boom. Yeah, so it seems like Raymond, PyBay, Project Jupyter. Yeah, so these are the things that people have talked. Again, you can save the dashboard, like a visualization, and then you can put it on your dashboard as well. So yeah, so like this is, so the thing is like if you have any of the server where you are keep getting data from the different sources, you can just like write a small wrapper to just like run our script or Python tool in like automated manner, and then you can have all the data have been updated on the Kibana in almost like real-time way. So yeah, and then let's go back to the slides. So yeah, so like these are the couple of the screenshots that I just took for the if the demo doesn't work, which happens to me. So yeah, so where you can just visualize this thing. So for us, this is the most use is like because like our firewalls are being deployed like everywhere. So if we break any protocol or if any identification, we can affect the different like enterprise network as well. So we always make sure that we do our due diligence before like shipping anything to the customers. So if we can, so if there is any like anomaly, then either we see like nothing or like a very big spikes, then we can like pretty much like narrow it down that particular event and just find the like root cause. So yeah, any questions? Yes. Almost real time, yes.
So you said almost real time. Is there real time?
There is like I would say like the solutions that we have used, and built, and like so like if you talk about all the like enterprise solutions like Splunk and like all those guys, very close to like real time, but I think it's like exactly at the same time, because the thing is once you get the data, you have to parse the data and like understand it to just make it visualize properly. So let's say for a security use case, right? You get the data, but you don't know what do I do with this data? Like, is it something malicious, good? So like if you have to do some sort of processing on it, that will add some sort of a delay. So that's the reason I've said like almost like real time. Yeah. Any other questions?
Going once, going twice.
Okay.
So are there particular precautions that you take as a security company that you can share with us, of course, keeping information and going through this process with information about security itself?
So precautions, like, sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay. So are there precautions that you take when using this software that you can share with us? Because you are a security.
Sure. So the thing is like, there are like, okay, so like everybody, like as I know, like love the like Elk stack. There are so many plugins that you can configure on top of your queries that will send you the alerts. So there's one of them was like Elastic Alert was developed by I think Yelp guys. So if so pretty much you can configure the like alert scenario, and if that particular scenario has been met, they can send you the updates to your email, to your Slack channels, or like they have the different options as well. So yes, and it can be true for like anybody. If it's a Walmart data and if they are not suddenly seeing any sale or any certain number of transaction, then something is going wrong with the Walmart.com website. A very simple example.
So 2 questions. One is, let's say someone is monitoring the network using your devices and the software visualization they're seeing on their dashboard. If they notice something suspicious, like all of a sudden it looks like there's some kind of DDoS attack, is there something they can send to their Palo Alto network device to say, hey, lock things down or something like that? And the second question is the tool that you guys have created to sort of merge all these things together, is there like a GitHub repo for that?
GitHub repo will be available soon. So basically the thing is, okay, sorry to answer your second question. Yes, the GitHub repo will come soon. Basically, if we have to put everything together, and I think we are doing some like enhancement as well. The fun was this one, that like alert mechanism. So like yeah, the GitHub like repo will like come soon. By like end of the day, at least like you have this up and running. So like that particular code will be available, and like all the like other enhancement, like we are keep like updating that like repo. To answer your first question, if we see, so the thing is we are doing this thing, we are using this mechanism currently in a proactive manner, where if we see that if we break something or if we didn't do anything correctly, so for that we are using that whatever we are shipping to the customers, we just make sure it first work fine on our development environment to identify that DDoS scenario, right? So like if you can filter based on the source address and or like the destination address, and like if you are seeing a certain number of transaction, like if I'm seeing 20,000 transaction to Facebook within 2 seconds, it's something that I should like at least like look in. Like it could be suspicious, and the suspicious could not be like the malicious always. But yeah, like so like if you have the data and if you generate like your smart queries and like save it and create a personalized dashboard, then yeah, like you can do it. Any other questions?
Are you familiar with Kafka?
No, but
would
I
that
have
be? Would you be able to use it in your use case that you just show us?
I have not used it, but yeah, like I'm like I'm not that familiar with that, so like I'm not that like use as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand it, and
Sure.
since you're talking about logs.
else?
Logstash does have Kafka inputs and outputs, if that helps answer that. My question was, have you used it for like long-term trending, like say looking at data that goes back months?
Yes.
And if so, like how big was that data set in terms of gigabytes or messages or whatever makes sense? I'm wondering like how it scales for like lots of events going back a long time.
Yeah, so for us, like we are pretty much storing a data part of a month. So basically, we have our own personal firewall being deployed like all across the world. Like I would say, 20 to 30 boxes, and from that we are getting the data, and we are keeping it for a month. The only reason for a month, so we can see the trend. The size of the data, I don't know the exact size, but I would say it's close to like 230 gigs, like I would say. So that we just like that we have specified as a like limit, so that it will be for a month, and from that we can just see the trend. So let's say if we're adding something new, we don't break existing stuff, and if something got changed, let's say Google, we do have one feature on our box. Sorry, I'm going very specific onto the product, but we have one feature called Google Search. If Google, like a Google Safe Search, so if Google has changed anything from that side, and if you want to make sure that okay, we don't break our feature, so you can see that particular traffic like here as well. That okay, if we see suddenly a big drop into a Google based identification, then it's an like alert for us. So yeah.
How much time have you found that you need to spend administering the like Elasticsearch and Kibana instances as your data set grows and going over time?
That I would say like it depends on your data set. If it's like a too large data set, then I would say at least a day, like a pretty much if the administrator can have some sort of a dashboard kind of thing, then he can just see, okay, is there any big delta between the previous data and the like a 2 days like live data? So I would say in a daily manner, yes, I would say like they have to at least spend some time for that. So like for like our use case, we pretty much see it a day before when we are about to ship something. So we have some soak of the data that we have changed, so that we can see the like response as well. Anybody else? Good.
Any more questions? Okay, well, thank you for coming out. Thank you for the speakers, giving a great talk.